Back. Last one count. All right. All right, spotter up. Oh,
Go 100 yards out of the road. Number 9.
Impact. Left it or right edge. Impact. Dead center.
Using my milk.
I think was it target number 8?
Yeah. Is it still at?
All right, so real quick, for many of the shooters, one of the things that we do as a tradition is we tell an important story. It's actually more important than the story we shared last night.
Hey, bring it in, guys.
No. Yeah.
Bring it in.
Okay, so here we go. Listen up. This is really important because I think as we shoot and we do these things, we need to really want to understand as shooters the bigger purpose of what we do. So the story that I promised I was going to share tonight is actually more important than the fun story we shared last night. And this is what we call the key story. Some of you may have seen it on YouTube. But this story has to do with my background. So I was one of 6 kids from 6 different dads. Never really knew my dad. Grew up basically in a really crappy environment where my mother was an alcoholic and she was abusive. And because of that, I ended up in foster care at the age of 12. And any of you guys that have children know that 12, 13, 14, those are volatile years of development when you need family most. And at that point in time in my life, my family was the Department of Social Services. I was being raised by the state. And if any of you have dealt with the DMV, you know that the state really doesn't do things well, and I would not trust them to raise our children, and that's what was happening to me. I was in and out of foster homes, and if many of you don't know how foster homes work and how placement for a lot of these kids works, is they get pulled out of a really crappy situation and they basically get put into a state-run orphanage. And then what happens is the Department of Social Services or other agencies on behalf of DSS will try to find placements for these kids. One of those agencies that raises their hand to go into the pool to pull kids out is Bethany Christian Services. Bethany Christian Services is America's largest and oldest Christian adoption and foster care agency. When myself, my older sister, and my younger brother all ended up in foster care, she was 15, I was 12, my younger brother was 10. She was 15 with a newborn. Not many people are willing to take a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old, so we actually got split apart so that they could place us in a home, because nobody would be able to take 3 teenagers plus a newborn, all right? So I was in and out of foster homes, and what happens is Bethany will try to place me in a foster home, and hopefully what happens is that foster home goes from temporary to permanent. And what happens is over a period of time, that foster family has a choice on whether or not they want to move from being temporary parents to where we want to actually adopt you. Now, one of the things that happened with me is I was kind of a knucklehead. I was stupid. I was almost intentionally derailing and sabotaging some of these placements. And I was acting out. And what would happen is when I got placed in one of these homes, what would happen is these foster parents would say, you know what, you're really not working out. And they would then take me and bring me back to the orphanage, and then I would get recycled and wait for another family to raise their hand to hopefully take me out, and hopefully that placement works. That happened several times from the time I was 12 until I was getting ready to age out of the foster care system at 18. At 17 years old, or at 18 years old, kids that don't have foster or don't have placement, the state lets them go and turns them loose. Statistically speaking, kids that are released into the system without a family are homeless or are in jail 80% of the time within a year. That was going to be my life. So my senior year, when my foster family and that temporary placement was not working, my current foster care worker, a gentleman by the name of Pete Knibbe, tall Dutch white guy, about 6'5", he's just 10 years older than me, knew that I was in a very volatile space because I was sleeping with friends' houses on couches. I was just crashing on places. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was at like the 5-yard line of my life turning into a big pile of crap. And Pete and his wife Gail said that they got it approved through Bethany for me to come stay with him for a couple weeks until I found a permanent placement. Well, a couple weeks turned into a couple more weeks, turned into, we want you to be a part of our family. So my caseworker, who knew my case file and knew all the beep I was doing, took me in and said, we still want you, even though you're freaking jacked up, right? What I learned, and it was something that was completely foreign to me because I was in permanent or temporary placements where I had never gotten a key to any of the foster homes I lived in. I would knock on the door and the foster parents would let me in. And then when I needed to come in on another day, I would knock and they would let me in. One of the first things that my parents, Pete and Gail, did for me is they gave me a house key. Now, house key doesn't seem like a big deal, but I had never even gotten one. Actually, when I got the house key, when I would let myself back in to the house, what I would do is I would return the key back on the kitchen table and I would leave it there. And I would say, here's your key back, thanks for letting me in. Because I didn't understand it was mine. And eventually, my mom told me, this key is yours. You will always have a home here. We will never return you, no matter what you do. And so that house key became a symbol for me in the work I do with the Guardian, because the money we raise on this raffle, through the registration, our sponsors, everything we do is giving keys to children who desperately need homes. And you guys are a part of that. You are guardians, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of that. What we've done in the last year is we actually had some really cool custom keys made that we want to give to a couple people who have really raised their hand to be guardians and helping bring this guardian here. Chris Tressler, get over here. You guys, anybody that's put on a match knows that there is so much work that goes in behind the scenes to pull off what we did today, to make sure that it not only flowed smooth, but it had the right feel and we had enough fun. Chris has done a tremendous amount of work, and I can't thank you enough for being a guardian. Thank you, sir.
I didn't do it alone.
So here's a sneaky secret. Christopher has also been a foster parent.
We had about 8 different kids.
Woo!
8 different kids. We had Magneto Speed was generous enough to donate a couple of target hit indicators for Christopher for hosting the match here as well. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Because the ones that were on his target when I was shooting them, they weren't working. I'm just saying, bro. They weren't working. They weren't working. Yeah, reshoot. There are a couple other individuals who have played a significant role in the Guardian, a lot of behind the scenes. Travis Ashita, and where's Tyler at? Where are they at? Get over here.
About that guy.
Get over here.
Says his wife.
Get over here. So Travis,
Tuck and roll, man.
so
Tuck and roll.
you have, so I've never worked with, the Guardian has never really worked with, we've always been like a solo bird, and it's been amazing to have such support with no strings attached from an organization like the NRL. And their spirit and what separates the NRL and their values and what they're about is embodied in what you guys saw today, with them making sure we all had spotting scopes and them providing thousands of dollars of raffle tickets to all of you guys so you had a great experience. They didn't want any recognition for any of this. They didn't know I was going to call them up and thank them, but they are true guardians. Travis, thank you, sir. I gotta give you a hug, man.
Make him crawl under it. Crawl under it. Do a fireman crawl.
You gotta pull your pocket bear out.
Picture. So there's one other quick award that we want to give away. So the Guardian started as my brainchild, and I'm very proud of it. I'm also very scared because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. The first long-range competition I ever went to was 5 years ago at the first Guardian I hosted. I had no idea what I'm doing. And I'm surrounded by amazing people like Tyler and Travis and Tim and Brittany. Brittany, for the last year, many of you probably don't even know the hundreds, if not potentially thousands of hours Brittany has put in without asking for anything at all. She is the most selfless person I've ever had the honor of working with, and I work in leadership across big organizations, and she would be my first round draft pick if I had to start any organization. So what we decided to do for Brittany, because she's always surprising us with hot tubs and chocolate beehives and stuff like that,
Do I really have to stand up?
No, you
Oh.
is we got Brittany a custom engraved plaque with a key inside of it. Many of you also probably don't know that Brittany has also recently become a foster mom. So, so while running Macmillan and turning her house into a crazy space for new children, she's also running the Guardian and doing, all of these crazy things while keeping a smile on her face. And I can't tell you how much I love you and I appreciate you.
So because you cannot all see this, what this says is the key to our success. Opportunity presents itself as a door to a new level of success. One can knock and never get through. You've been the key, unlocking new opportunities and taking us to places we never thought possible. Very true. Thank you for opening the door.
Woo! Trying to unlock more doors. So, that's it for all of the emotional stuff. How many of you guys have been to a Guardian before? How many Guardians have you been to? Dave, Dustin? It's pretty, yeah, and it's pretty like you 6 or 6 on seeing me cry at every match. Yeah. This is very close to my heart. I absolutely love what I do. I love meeting all of these new cool people, and I just can't thank you guys enough for sacrificing your time away from your family and being a part of this. If there's ever any question about what we do, or if you have any questions, you have friends that are interested in adoption, please have them reach out to me. I don't work for Bethany. I actually have a full-time job doing other stuff, but I can certainly put them in contact with people that can help change lives and open more doors. So thank you guys for being a part of that. All right.